The new Solon Kmart will celebrate its grand opening starting Thursday.
There was a time when Kmart was at the top of its game. People would spend hours and hours just walking around the premises waiting for the announcement. I think you won't know this, but Kmart had a world-famous phrase, and it sounded like, "Attention Kmart shoppers." These days, it isn't a pleasant experience being in a Kmart, at least not how it used to be a decade ago. Kmart was a go-to store for many people, and everyone knew that phrase and the blue light, of course. This trick was fairly simple and spot on. Kmart would randomly announce with a siren sorts of lights like a police car, and then give discounts for special items, and people who came shopping would wait for that moment to bag that item. This worked wonders, and there were people just hanging around in the store longer, just sifting through the shelves with their ears wide open. This helped the store clear their merchandise, which was gathering dust on the shelves, and it did wonders for the sales. I mean, the idea was a huge success. With all of these customers waiting on the announcement so they could buy the item that is on sale was a great sales tactic, but it seems like they're not doing it anymore. These days there are no announcement, and no one's even sure that Kmart still does that blue light special. Kmart used to rank number 2 in retail stores, and everyone used to get everything from that store, but these days it is simply just dried up. Welcome to Hot Takes, and in this video we're gonna decipher what exactly happened to one of the most famous businesses across the state.
Attention Kmart shoppers and all ships at sea. Dateline Detroit, 1899. Sebastian Steering Kresge opens his first store in downtown Detroit.
Sebastian S. Kresge, the man behind Kmart, started the company during the late 19th century. In the beginning, these stores only sold and focused on products that were very cheap, about 5 to 10 cents. That is very cheap even for the people back in those days. And the K in the Kmart comes from the name of the founder, so basically Kmart means Kresge's Mart, but it wasn't until 1962 when the first Kmart was inaugurated in Garden City, Michigan, and it closed down in 2017. But Walmart stores were expanding rapidly, almost like a wildfire, and by the end of 1976, they were responsible for almost all of the Kresge company's sales, and so they changed the name of the company, and then Kmart Corporation was officially coined by the late 1980s, and they owned 100% of the company, and by 1990 they came up with the logo, and that is what we see today. They began expanding their business and opened other stores like the Big Kmart and Super Kmart, and it started acquiring 22% of Office Max by 1991. They increased their ownership of Office Max to 90%, but they were not going to stop, so they bought Borders bookstores in 1992, but they ended up selling most of it by 1995. Surprisingly, the company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 2002, and it turns out the company continues to exist, but in 2004, Kmart Holding Corporation changed to Sears Holding Corporation. Bought or acquired Kmart Holding Corporation, but it was Kmart Corporation Holdings who bought the other firm. They decided to keep the name and move their headquarters to Hoffman Estates in Illinois. Sears and Kmart Holding Corporation were two of the major retailers, playing a great role in the United States during the 1990s. The merger deal did not require any kind of government intervention, and it was just so spontaneous and abrupt. The decline of Kmart would have been a result of this. They ditched the Kmart logo and went for a new one. They had this logo for over 13 years and they changed it. Well, in my opinion, a logo is just the face of a company and it should be familiar. Having a new logo just changes the entire vibe that came with Kmart, but that alone will not cause the decline of a great company, so what I'm gonna do is tell you a story about a company's gradual decline. Even before merging with Sears Holding Corporation, Kmart was having issues with the Chapter 11 bankruptcy, shows that they weren't performing too well. If we look at the charts from 2006 to 2016, Kmart stores were scattered all around the world, and they had about 1,400 locations covered by 2016, and it went down by 50%, and they only had about 735 stores worldwide, and that too had a huge impact on the revenue, which used to be about $18,000 back in 2006, and by 2016, they were only making about $8,000 annually. The main takeover here is not just one store performing poorly, but every store in the world. Kmart was losing customers day by day. Now, I'm not good with analyzing financial stuff, but anyone who's looking at this graph can see the slope declining. It is not just the period after the merger. Even before the merger, Kmart had a similar story going on. But it might be a good thing for Kmart. If you're not a financial analyst, let me help you out. It's a very simple thing, you see. The company has loans that are divided by all the debts that are divided by their equity, which is the amount of money that would remain after all the debts are paid, and it is used by almost all the creditors. They want the company to have low debt and high equity, so if the numbers are low, while most companies have different numbers, but anything below 2 is generally a very good number. So if the numbers are high, then the company isn't doing too well, and this is called debt to equity. In very simple terms, the higher the equity, the more the loan the company has to pay, and it all works on percentage, so if it's around 2%, and if you're making $10,000 annually, then you're $2,000 to the creditors. Now, with this perspective, if we look at Kmart's performance back in 2006, they were paying 1.36% of equity, which by the end of the 2016 went down to negative 3.5, and it includes both the companies in the merger. This means that the company does not have enough money to pay the equity, and that's a huge red flag for the creditors now. What the company does is they liquidate all of their assets, take all their money from that, and pay off any outstanding loans, and then keep the rest. To get a better understanding of this, if someone wants some money for their business, and you know they aren't doing a good job in starting a business, would you give them money for the business? Now, if they already took money from you and they've not returned it, would you still lend them more money? Now, if I compare Kmart with Walmart and Target back in 2016, when Target had an annual revenue of 2.11 and Walmart about 1.38, Kmart was having 3.45 in the negative. Kmart has been going down since 2011, and they've been going negative for about a decade now, which is baffling to me, as how are they even managing the business anymore? When we see it on the news, it's just numbered on the screen and we'll be like, oh, too bad for Kmart. But 6 consecutive years is enough to kill any company, and it's a point of concern how they're still holding on. The downfall of Kmart can be attributed to all the other marts and stores surrounding us. Now, before, no matter whatever you wanted, you could get it in Kmart. These days, if you want to get some groceries, you go to Walmart or a local grocery store, and if you want to get huge equipment like a refrigerator, you would probably go to a Home Depot. So the main reason why Kmart is going down is that people are not going to the Kmart stores anymore. But the most dangerous mercenary of them all is the internet. These days, everything can be done online, so whenever you want to get something, you click buttons on your phone, and that's one of the major things that killed Kmart. Also, if you want to get some groceries, you're not going to go to a Kmart anymore, but you're going to go to a local grocery store. The bottom line is Kmart became a victim of the changing times, and they never thought of upgrading their stores. They lost touch with the customers as they were busy buying more companies than changing with time. They still operate on slow machines, and that could lead to a long queue, which is not a good experience for anyone. I'm sure that they don't even have enough money to upgrade, and it's too late for them. Thank you so much for watching. This was the story of Kmart. If you liked the video, show us by liking it, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Have a good day.